You ever had that feeling that you're being watched? That tiny shiver down your spine, the hairs on your neck standing up, like something just out of sight is staring right at you. Now imagine that, but you're alone, in a high-rise office, at 3 a.m., and then the elevator dings. Ding, elevator chime, echoes eerily. You ignore it. No one else should be here. But then it happens again and again and again, until curiosity or stupidity forces you to check. And that's when you realize you were never alone to begin with. I had stayed late before, but this was different. The silence wasn't just silence. It was heavy, thick, almost pressing in on me. Every click of my keyboard sounded deafening. Then, ding! I glanced at the clock, 3 a.m. on the dot. Elevators don't just randomly show up, right? The doors slid open, nothing, just an empty, dark interior. The light inside wasn't even on, weird, but maybe a glitch? I mean, what was I expecting? A demon personally inviting me for a joyride? I shook it off and got back to work. 5 minutes later, ding. The elevator doors opened again, still empty, still dark. I stared at it. It stared back, and then I swear to God, I heard breathing. I told myself it was in my head. The mind plays tricks when you're tired, but the more I ignored it, the more persistent it became. Ding, ding, ding. Over and over, stopping on my floor, the doors sliding open, waiting. I grabbed my phone and opened the security app. No one was in the building. Okay, time to leave. I packed up, grabbed my bag, and pressed the elevator button. Big mistake. The doors slammed shut. Then ding! They slid open again, waiting. I hesitated. The stairs were an option, but who the hell wants to run down 40 flights at 3 a.m.? So I stepped in. The doors shut. I pressed the button for the lobby. The elevator didn't move. Instead, the panel flickered, and the buttons changed. No floors, no labels, just one option. Basement. I didn't press it. The elevator did. Deep, eerie mechanical sounds. Elevator hums. I felt it drop. Not fast, but steady, controlled. The panel screen changed. 1, 2, 3. Wait, my building didn't have underground floors. I stabbed the emergency button. Nothing. Then ding! The doors opened. Pitch black, but not just darkness. Something was moving. I barely saw it, but it was tall. Wrong. Limbs too long, head tilted at a sickening angle. And it was crawling. Fast. The doors slammed shut. The elevator dropped again. 4, 5, 6, I jammed every button. It didn't stop. Then, ding! The doors opened again. This time, I saw my office, but it was wrong. My desk was overturned. Papers were scattered. Walls were scratched. Deep, violent gouges. And then I saw it. A reflection of myself sitting at my desk, typing. But it wasn't me. It turned, looked at me, and it smiled. The doors slammed shut. Fast, panicked breathing, elevator beeping. Erratically, I lost it. I screamed, punched the walls, begged for it to stop. Then the screen changed. One word. Home! The elevator rocketed upward. My ears popped. My vision blurred. Ding! The doors slid open. My apartment. I stepped out. Everything looked normal, safe. The elevator doors stayed open. An invitation. Then I saw my bedroom door crack open. A hand, my hand, reached out. My own voice whispered, "You shouldn't have left." And that's when I realized I never left the elevator. If you were trapped in an elevator at 3 a.m., would you press basement or wait it out? Let me know in the comments. But be careful, because next time you hear an elevator ding in the middle of the night, you might not be the only one riding. The coffee shop is dimly lit. The hum of the refrigerator fills the silence. The protagonist, Jessica, a young barista, is wiping down the counter. The clock on the wall ticks, 11:50 p.m. Outside, rain lashes against the windows. An occasional thunder rolls in the distance. Almost done. Just me, an empty coffee shop, and whatever creepy vibes are lurking in the shadows. No big deal. She forces a smile and shakes her head as she sprays the counter. In the background, the sound of something faintly scraping the floor is heard. Jessica stops, listening, then chuckles nervously. Okay, chill. It's probably just the wind. Or a ghost who's obsessed with cappuccinos. She looks over her shoulder but sees nothing. Jessica moves to the supply closet to grab the mop. As she reaches for it, the bucket slowly slides a few inches on its own. Jessica freezes, staring at it. Great. Either we have a poltergeist, or these cleaning supplies have gained sentience. She nervously grabs the mop and quickly walks back to the front of the store. She begins mopping, but her movements are jittery as she keeps glancing at the bucket. Jessica finishes mopping and goes to the back room to check the security cameras. The grainy footage shows the empty coffee shop. She fast-forwards, but as she does, a shadowy figure briefly flickers into view near the tables. Jessica rewinds and squints at the screen. Wait, what the hell is that? The figure reappears, slowly wiping down a table, but there's no one physically there in the shop. Okay, either I need sleep or Casper's trying to steal my job. Jessica returns to the front, her nerves frayed. She starts stacking chairs on the tables, glancing around nervously. Suddenly, she notices the mop leaning against the wall has fallen over. It's now lying in the middle of the floor, surrounded by water that seems to form a trail toward the counter where Jessica is standing. Okay, not funny anymore. She backs away and grabs her phone to call her coworker. Hey, Kyle. Weird question, but has anything creepy ever happened while closing? Creepy how? Like customers asking for decaf at midnight, or creepy like ghosts? Ghosts. Definitely ghosts. Or maybe a demon who's a neat freak. Oh, you mean the cleaning thing? Yeah, I've heard stories. Good luck. The line goes dead. Jessica stares at her phone, confused and panicked. Jessica looks at the tables. A cup of coffee is spilled on one, but she swears she just cleaned that table moments ago. Her hands shake as she approaches it. As she grabs a towel to wipe the mess, the shadowy figure appears briefly in the reflection of the window behind her, then disappears when she turns around. Nope, 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 not doing this. You win, ghost janitor. She heads to the door, but it won't budge. She pulls at it, panicked, but it's locked. She grabs the keys from her pocket and tries them, but they won't turn. Behind her, chairs begin to creak as if someone is sitting in them. The camera pans to show empty seats rocking slightly, one after another. Jessica turns back to the counter and gasps. The shadowy figure is now there, faint but visible, slowly wiping the counter. It stops, tilts its head toward her, and begins walking closer. Jessica stumbles backward, knocking over chairs. Stay back. What do you want? The shadow doesn't answer but points to the spilled coffee cup on the table. Jessica hesitates, then rushes over and quickly wipes it up. The shadow stops moving. For a moment, silence. Jessica breathes heavily, clutching the towel. Then, the shadow vanishes. Seriously? You just wanted me to clean faster? What are you, my manager? Jessica gathers her things and rushes to the door, which now opens with ease. She steps outside into the rain, breathing a sigh of relief. Okay, definitely quitting tomorrow. As she walks to her car, the camera lingers on the coffee shop window. The shadowy figure appears inside, standing motionless, staring out at her. Jessica gets in her car and drives away, unaware that on the passenger seat, there's a faint handprint made of water. Sometimes, staying late isn't worth it. What would you do if a shadow started cleaning up after you? Have you ever experienced anything creepy while working late? Let us know in the comments. The warehouse is dimly lit, silent except for the hum of fluorescent lights. Stacks of towering shelves form labyrinthine aisles, casting long shadows. It's 11:58 p.m. The main character, Ethan, is pushing a cart filled with boxes, looking visibly tired. Why did I agree to this shift? Oh, right, rent. Thanks. Capitalism. He adjusts his headphones, listens to faint music and glances at his phone. The battery is at 5%. Perfect. Just what I need. My phone dying in the middle of a horror movie setup. The lights above flicker once, then again. Ethan stops in his tracks, looks up, and chuckles nervously. Really? Flickering lights? Come on, at least try to be original. As he continues down the aisle, the sound of a box falling in the distance breaks the silence. Ethan freezes, looking toward the source of the noise. He slowly removes his headphones, the music replaced by the deafening silence of the warehouse. Okay, maybe it's just gravity. Yeah, gravity. He cautiously walks toward the fallen box, his footsteps echoing. When he reaches the spot, the box is upright again, as if it was never disturbed. Ethan's brow furrows, and he takes a step back. As Ethan turns to leave, more items begin falling. First one, then another, then several boxes at once. The sound crescendos, echoing through the warehouse. Ethan backs away, his heart racing. All right, who's messing with me? If this is a prank, it's not funny. He pulls out his phone to check the security cameras. The screen shows the aisles one by one, empty. Then in one frame, a shadow darts between shelves. Ethan freezes, the phone trembling in his hand. That was not gravity. He looks up, scanning the aisles around him, but sees nothing. Ethan shakes his head and laughs nervously. Okay, Ethan, calm down. It's just your mind playing tricks on you. Or maybe the warehouse ghost decided to clock in tonight. He tries to reset his nerves by whistling, but his voice cracks as he starts organizing boxes again. The sound of faint footsteps echoes, coming from an adjacent aisle. Nope, not going there. The footsteps grow louder, now accompanied by faint breathing. Ethan's hands shake as he grabs a wrench lying on a nearby shelf. He peers around the corner of the aisle but sees only empty shelves stretching into the darkness. The lights flicker again, this time staying off for a few seconds before humming back to life. When they do, a shadowy figure is visible at the far end of the aisle. It's tall, humanoid, but its features are indistinct, blurred like a bad photograph. Ethan gasps and stumbles backward, dropping the wrench. Okay, I take it back. I didn't mean the ghost thing. You don't have to prove me wrong. He scrambles to pick up the wrench, but when he looks up, the figure is gone. Ethan's breathing is erratic now. He pulls out his phone again, but it dies before he can check the cameras. Ethan decides to head for the exit. He pushes the cart aside and sprints toward the warehouse door. As he rounds a corner, the aisles seem to stretch endlessly. The exit that was once visible is now gone, replaced by more shelves. No. This isn't real. This can't be real. He turns around, trying to retrace his steps, but every direction looks the same. The shelves seem to shift, closing in on him. The air grows colder, and a low guttural growl echoes through the space. What do you want from me? The growling stops, replaced by eerie whispers that sound like they're coming from the shelves themselves. Ethan grabs a box and throws it, but it hits the ground with a hollow thud. Ethan collapses to his knees, his head in his hands. The whispers grow louder, forming words that he can't quite understand. Suddenly, the shadowy figure appears again, this time only a few feet away. Its head tilts unnaturally to the side, as if studying him. Please, just let me go. The figure raises an arm, pointing toward an aisle. Ethan hesitates but decides to follow its direction, realizing he has no other choice. He walks cautiously, the figure trailing behind him, like a predator herding its prey. At the end of the aisle, Ethan sees a small trapdoor in the floor that wasn't there before. The whispers stop abruptly, and the figure disappears. Ethan hesitates before reaching for the door handle. As Ethan opens the trapdoor, an intense, blinding light spills out. He shields his eyes and steps back, but the light pulls him in, along with the sound of the growl returning, louder and more menacing than before. The screen goes black. What do you think Ethan saw when he opened the trap door? Comment your theories below. The clock strikes 2:45 a.m. The store is eerily quiet, with only the hum of the refrigerators and faint footsteps echoing through the aisles. Lena, the night shift cashier, is lazily scanning through a magazine behind the counter. Her phone vibrates. She checks it. Another hour left, then I can finally get some sleep. Who needs a 24-hour supermarket, anyway? She yawns and flips through the magazine, clearly exhausted. The store's doors jingle as the bell rings, announcing a new customer. A strange man, dressed in old tattered clothes, walks in. His movements are slow, deliberate. Late-night snack run, huh? The man doesn't respond, but instead walks to the back aisles, grabbing strange items from the shelves. Candles, raw meat, herbs. Lena watches with a raised eyebrow. Not your typical 2 a.m. shopping list. Maybe he's got a weird dinner planned. The man brings the items to the counter. Lena starts scanning the items, but as she does, the register starts to flash strange messages. The register shows item not found repeatedly, then switches to blood, followed by hidden. Lena's hand freezes over the register, confused and slightly unsettled. Is there something wrong with the system? She tries to cancel the messages, but it only gets worse. The screen flashes, pay the price, followed by, the end is coming. Lena looks up at the customer, who is now standing eerily still, staring at her. Okay, that's not freaky at all. She laughs nervously, but her discomfort grows. The customer leans forward and whispers in a low, raspy voice, "You don't understand, do you? They are already here?" Lena shudders, trying to hide her unease, but the man's eyes seem to pierce right through her. Suddenly the lights flicker and go out. The store is plunged into darkness, except for the faint emergency lights that cast eerie shadows on the walls. Lena's breath quickens as she fumbles to find the light switch. The only sound is the man's quiet whispering. She tries to keep her voice steady. Okay, I can handle this. It's just the power, that's all. But the man's chanting grows louder, more rhythmic, more sinister. Lena's hands begin to tremble. She looks at him, but he's no longer standing at the counter. What is he doing? Lena hears the soft thud of footsteps, but when she looks, the man is gone. She gets up and slowly moves toward the aisles, glancing over her shoulder. The chant grows louder, more desperate. By the light, by the night, they will come. By blood and bone, they will rise. Suddenly the shelves begin to creak. The cans and jars on the shelves rattle, then crash to the ground one by one. The walls start to shake, and Lena hears the sound of something heavy dragging against the floor beneath the store. Lena stumbles back toward the counter, but as she does, one of the shelves collapses entirely, revealing a hidden passage leading downward into the darkness below. What the hell is going on? The man is now standing at the entrance of the hidden passage, his back to her. He slowly turns his head, his eyes wide with an unnatural glow. It's time for you to choose. Lena's heart races. She feels as if she's trapped in a nightmare. She looks down at the passage, then at the strange man. The chanting grows louder, almost deafening. Choose. Choose what? Come down, or become part of it. The man's smile widens. Lena can feel the temperature drop, and the air thickens with an oppressive sense of dread. Her mind races, trying to figure out what to do. Okay, Lena, stay calm. You've got this. You just need to get to the door. That's all. She backs away, but as she does, the shelves on the other side of the store begin to collapse as well, blocking any exit. The lights flicker again, and the shelves suddenly start to move, closing in around her. No, 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 no! She runs toward the back of the store, but the aisles stretch endlessly, and she realizes that no matter where she turns, the same shadowy figures loom, and the hidden passage remains just ahead. Lena's mind is racing as she sees the man's glowing eyes staring at her from the bottom of the passage. The chant reaches a fever pitch. She can hear whispers from all sides now, from the shelves, from the darkness itself. "I have to get out of here." Suddenly the man's voice cuts through the chaos. "You'll never leave, unless you're part of it." Lena stands frozen, torn between running and confronting whatever awaits below. The power flickers again, and she hears the faint sound of whispers becoming louder. The entire store seems alive, moving, closing in. I can't." With a sudden terrifying screech, the shelves begin to collapse completely, revealing the full extent of the hidden passage below. The man steps into the shadows, his figure disappearing into the darkness. The shelves collapse one last time, and Lena is left standing at the edge of the passage, staring down into the abyss. The man's voice echoes from below. "Come, it's already begun." Lena takes a shaky breath, looking down the dark passage as the camera zooms in on her terrified face. What is this? What do they want from me? Suddenly the shadows from the passage move, as if something is rising. Lena screams. Dimly lit office space, a desk cluttered with papers, coffee cups, and a laptop. The ticking of a clock echoes, showing 11:58 p.m. outside. Rain softly patters against the windows, and thunder rumbles in the distance. The protagonist, Rajan, sits at their desk, rubbing their tired eyes. They glance at their phone screen, no new notifications. They take a sip of cold coffee and shake their head. 4 hours of sleep or meeting this deadline? Great life choices. Ryan. Truly inspiring. A loud ping breaks the silence. Ryan's email inbox flashes with a new message. The subject line reads, "Time's up." Confused, they click on it, but the email is blank. The clock strikes 12 o'clock. The room feels heavier, the air still. Suddenly Ryan's phone buzzes on the desk, the screen showing an unknown number. Spam call? At this hour? Sure, why not? Maybe it's someone offering me a midnight cruise. They pick up the call, placing the phone to their ear. Ryan freezes as the voice on the other end speaks. It's their own voice, calm but eerily emotionless. "Hey, you said, 'Great life choices, Ryan.' Truly inspiring just now, didn't you? That was funny. I always knew you had a sarcastic streak." Ryan's face pales. They pull the phone away, glance at the screen again. Still says, "Unknown number," trying to stay calm. "All right, who is this? Is this some kind of prank? Max, if this is you, not funny." The voice on the phone ignores the question and starts replaying a conversation Ryan had earlier in the day with a co-worker, word for word. Ryan's breathing grows shallow as they recall the exact exchange. This can't be real." "Oh, but it is. And Ryan, you're not alone anymore." A sharp static noise bursts from the phone. The line disconnects abruptly. The phone falls from Ryan's trembling hand onto the desk. Ryan scans the room nervously, their breathing uneven. The office feels different, darker, heavier. They lock the door to their office and sit back down, trying to rationalize the situation. Maybe it's a deep fake. Yeah, voice tech is wild these days. Or I'm just so sleep-deprived I'm hearing things. Right. Ryan laughs nervously, but stops when they hear faint footsteps outside the office door. They freeze, staring at the door handle, which doesn't move. The footsteps stop. They slowly stand and grab their phone, opening a flashlight app. The hallway outside their office is dim, lit only by a flickering bulb at the end. "Okay, Ryan, either you're paranoid or you're about to star in your very own horror movie. And let's be honest, you'd die first." They peek into the hallway. It's empty. The air feels colder now, and the flickering bulb finally goes out. Ryan quickly shuts the door and locks it again, their hands trembling. Back at the desk, Ryan tries to focus on their work, but the unease is palpable. The laptop screen glitches for a moment before returning to normal. Suddenly the phone buzzes again, unknown number. "Don't pick it up! Don't pick it up!" But the ringing doesn't stop. With shaking hands, they answer. "Who the hell are you?" The same voice responds, but now it's distorted. deeper. You don't recognize yourself, Ryan. We've been together for so long, but you've been ignoring me. Ryan's grip on the phone tightens. The voice laughs, a low, guttural sound that echoes unnaturally. Look behind you. Ryan's face freezes. They don't turn around at first, but the phone falls silent. They slowly glance over their shoulder. Nothing is there. Ryan turns back to the desk, but their laptop screen now shows a live feed of themselves sitting at the desk. The video is being recorded from directly behind them, where they just checked. No, this isn't possible. The camera feed on the screen zooms in closer and closer until it shows their face in terrifying detail. Suddenly the screen glitches and a message appears in bold red letters. "We are one now." Ryan backs away from the desk. The office lights flicker violently. A shadowy figure appears in the corner of the room, slowly stepping forward. The figure is humanoid but featureless, with an unsettling resemblance to Ryan. "Stay away. What do you want from me?" The figure stops and tilts its head. Its voice is now identical to Ryan's. "What I've always wanted, to be free." The lights go out completely. Heavy breathing fills the room. Ryan frantically searches for their phone, but it's gone. The screen of their laptop flashes on again, showing a recording of Ryan standing alone in the dark office. Ryan stumbles toward the door, trying to escape. But as they reach for the handle, they realize their reflection in the window beside the door isn't matching their movements. The reflection stares back at them with a sinister smile. "You can't leave, Ryan. Not anymore. What would you do if you received a call from yourself? Let us know in the comments below. And remember, sometimes working late might mean you're not working alone." Dimly lit office, late night. Papers are scattered across a desk, and the sound of typing echoes faintly. Outside, rain patters against the windows of a high-rise building. The clock on the wall reads 11:57 p.m. Alex sits at their desk, rubbing their temples. They're alone on the top floor, the last one left in the building. The silence is suffocating. Of course, the report is due tomorrow. Why not? Who needs sleep anyway? Suddenly the lights flicker. Alex pauses, staring at the ceiling. The room plunges into momentary darkness before the lights stabilize. They sigh. Really? Just one night? Can't you keep it together? They pack their bag, grab their phone, and head toward the exit. The elevator panel blinks, out of order, in bright red letters. Perfect. Guess it's cardio time. They push open the stairwell door. The creak echoes eerily. Alex begins descending the stairs, their footsteps reverberating in the hollow space. The dim fluorescent lights above them flicker erratically. Halfway down, they pause. Faint, uneven footsteps echo from above, followed by the sound of a door closing. "Okay, calm down. It's probably just the janitor. Right?" They force a laugh, but their pace quickens. The sound of footsteps stops abruptly. Alex glances back up the stairwell but sees nothing. They shake their head and continue. As they near the top floor, the stairwell lights cut out completely for a second. Alex freezes. When the lights flicker back on, they notice faint, muddy footprints on the stairs behind them. Prints that weren't there before. Nope, 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 not dealing with this. They rush up the last flight of stairs and push the door open to their floor. The office floor is eerily quiet. Everything looks normal at first glance, but Alex immediately notices the main doors are locked from the inside. They jiggle the handle, confused. How does that even happen? They check their phone, but there's no signal. The battery percentage flickers from 60% to 5% before the phone shuts off entirely. Of course, why not? It's not like I needed that or anything. They begin walking through the rows of desks, searching for another exit. The flickering lights above cast long, shifting shadows. As Alex moves, they hear a faint sound from the hallway. a soft whisper, almost like their name. "Alex." They freeze, heart pounding. "Who's there?" No answer. The hallway is empty, but the sound of a chair creaking comes from somewhere nearby. They hesitate, then step cautiously toward the source of the noise. A shadow moves at the edge of their vision, but when they turn, there's nothing there. Alex stops in their tracks, forcing a nervous laugh. "Okay, seriously, either I'm losing it or this is one elaborate prank. If this is you, Mike, I swear I'm gonna, I don't know, bake you cookies and throw them at your face." They try to laugh it off, but their voice wavers. The silence stretches unnaturally long, amplifying every sound. Suddenly a loud bang echoes from the break room. Alex jumps, nearly dropping their bag. "Okay, cookies are off the table." They approach the break room door, hesitating before pushing it open. Inside, the room is empty, but a chair is overturned, and the vending machine screen flickers erratically. The faint reflection in the glass shows a shadow standing behind Alex. They spin around. There's no one there. As Alex backs away from the break room, the lights in the hallway begin to shut off one by one, each click getting closer. "No, no, no, no." They run toward the exit doors, but the locks remain stubbornly closed. A low, distorted voice fills the air, calling their name repeatedly. Alex, you shouldn't have stayed." Shadows twist unnaturally on the walls, moving against the light. Alex presses themselves against the door, trying to pry it open. Suddenly, a hand grabs their shoulder from behind. They scream and spin around, but no one is there. Breathing heavily, they turn back toward the office. Their desk light is now on, even though they turned it off earlier. A single piece of paper sits in the center of the desk. Alex approaches the desk cautiously. The paper has one phrase written in large, jagged letters: "You can't leave." As they stare at the message, the lights flicker violently, and the air grows icy. The distorted voice returns, louder and angrier. "You shouldn't have stayed." The shadows on the walls converge into a tall, menacing figure with hollow eyes. It steps closer to Alex as they back away, hitting the locked door. They scream, banging on the door, but it doesn't budge. The figure reaches out. Its hand inches from Alex's face when, "What would you do if you were trapped in that building? Comment below and let us know. And remember, sometimes staying late can cost more than just sleep." Night, a dimly lit office. The only sound is the faint hum of a computer and the rhythmic ticking of a clock. Protagonist, Ethan, is typing furiously at his desk, eyes darting between the monitor and a cup of cold coffee. Just a few more hours, and this project is done. "Come on, Ethan, you've got this." He yawns, stretching, and glances at the printer sitting silently on the corner of the desk. Suddenly, the printer whirs to life, startling him. "Whoa! Okay, calm down, printer. No one told you to wake up." The printer begins printing a single page. Ethan frowns, gets up, and grabs the page. It's blank. He squints at it, confused. Great. Now even the printer is pulling overtime. He shakes his head, but before he can return to his seat, the printer starts again, this time spitting out several pages, filled with strange, incomprehensible symbols. "Okay, this is new. Did I accidentally summon some ancient curse? Or is this your way of asking for a firmware update?" The humor fades as the printer speeds up, churning out more and more pages, the symbols becoming increasingly erratic. Ethan rushes to stop the printer, pressing every button on it, but it doesn't stop. Instead, it begins printing faster, pages piling up on the floor. He picks one up, and his expression shifts from confusion to fear. The page describes, word for word, exactly what Ethan just did. Stretching, yawning, getting up to look at the printer. What? The printer starts printing as you're typing. You reach out to grab the first page. He looks at the page in his hand, which describes his exact actions. He flips to the next page, which reads, "You step back in confusion. You're not alone." Ethan freezes, then glances nervously around the office. Not alone? Is someone in here? The office is silent except for the furious sound of the printer. Ethan slowly steps toward the door, but just as he reaches for the handle, another page falls onto the pile. You think leaving will help, but it won't. You'll come back. He stops, hand hovering over the doorknob, paralyzed with indecision. Ethan tries to break the tension, forcing a laugh as he paces back toward the printer. "Okay, printer, you win. You've officially scared me. Is this your revenge for all those low-ink warnings I ignored? Should I apologize now?" He stops and picks up another page, muttering. What's next? You apologize to the printer, and it forgives you. The next page prints instantly. You mock the situation, but deep down, you're terrified. Ethan's face drops. All right, that's not funny anymore. The printer suddenly stops. The silence is deafening. Ethan takes a shaky breath, relieved, until the computer screen behind him flickers to life on its own. The monitor displays the same cryptic symbols as the printed pages, then flashes a chilling message. "Look behind you." Ethan stiffens, his breath caught in his throat. Slowly, he turns around. The office is empty, but the printer begins again, louder and faster than before. The pages now show detailed predictions. You run to the break room, the lights flicker, you hear footsteps. Ethan backs away from the printer, clutching the pages. He hesitates, then bolts toward the break room. The hallway lights flicker erratically as he runs. Just as the page described, the break room lights are dim, and he hears faint footsteps echoing behind him. This can't be real. This can't be happening. He grabs his phone, but it won't turn on. Another page prints in the office. "Your phone won't save you." Nothing will. Ethan stares at the words, horrified. Ethan hears the printer stop, then silence. He cautiously steps back into the main office. The air feels heavier, and the shadows in the room seem to shift unnaturally. He approaches the printer, but instead of pages, it ejects a single photo. A photo of Ethan, sitting at his desk, from just moments ago. The angle is impossible, as if someone was standing behind him. "Who's doing this? What do you want?" The printer prints another message. "You're asking the wrong questions." Suddenly, the office doors slam shut. The lights go out completely, leaving only the faint glow of the printer and the computer screen. Ethan fumbles for a flashlight from his desk drawer, but when he turns it on, it flickers weakly. The beam falls on the printer, which is ejecting one final page, agonizingly slow. He watches as the words appear, one by one. The message reads, "You're not supposed to leave. Stay." The flashlight flickers out, and the room plunges into complete darkness. Ethan hears the unmistakable sound of paper tearing, then footsteps, heavy, deliberate, and getting closer. Would you stay, or would you run? Comment below and let us know. Choose wisely. The clock on the wall ticks loudly, showing 3:07 a.m. The room is dimly lit, with only a desk lamp illuminating scattered papers and a laptop screen. Soft rain taps against the window. The protagonist, Ryan, rubs his eyes, exhausted but determined to finish his work. "All right, Ryan, one last push. Just one more hour and you're done. But first, coffee." Ryan stretches and stands up. His steps are slow and heavy as he heads toward the kitchen. The ambiance is eerily quiet, except for the occasional sound of the rain. In the kitchen, he grabs a mug, fills the coffee maker, and waits. The sound of brewing coffee fills the silence. He smirks. This stuff is basically rocket fuel. Wonder if NASA's hiring coffee addicts. The coffee finishes brewing. He pours himself a cup, the steam curling upwards. Ryan takes his first sip and immediately frowns. "Huh, did I put salt in this instead of sugar? No way." He glances at the sugar jar, which is clearly untouched. He sniffs the coffee, then hesitantly takes another sip. This time, his expression shifts. Confusion, then unease. This doesn't taste right. What the hell is this? Ryan shrugs it off and sits back down at his desk. He types, but his hands tremble slightly. The room feels different, heavier, darker. The lamp flickers faintly. Okay, focus. Just tired. That's all. He tries to continue typing, but his vision blurs. The words on the screen seem to ripple, twisting and contorting. He blinks hard, trying to shake it off. Suddenly he hears a faint thud from the living room. He freezes. Great. Either the coffee's laced or the house just decided to grow a personality. The sound repeats, this time louder. Ryan stands up cautiously, peeking around the corner into the dark living room. It's empty. He exhales, relieved, and turns back toward his desk, only to hear footsteps behind him. He spins around, but again, no one is there. The camera lingers on his panicked face as his breathing quickens. Back at his desk, Ryan downs the rest of the coffee, trying to fight the exhaustion. Almost instantly, he regrets it. His hands shake uncontrollably, and the room begins to shift around him. The walls seem to stretch and bend unnaturally, like they're alive. Okay. What the hell is happening? Shadows in the corners of the room start to move, crawling up the walls. Ryan stares, horrified, as one shadow grows larger and larger, taking on a vaguely human form. All right, coffee demon. If you're here to kill me, at least let me finish my report first. The shadow disappears abruptly. Ryan glances around, unsure if he imagined it. His head pounds, and he stumbles toward the kitchen for water. In the kitchen, the faucet drips slowly. He turns it on, but instead of water, a thick black liquid pours out. His reflection in the window above the sink starts to move independently, tilting its head as if watching him. You shouldn't have drank it. Ryan stumbles back, knocking over a chair. He clutches his head, his breathing ragged. The whispers grow louder, echoing around him. Ryan retreats to the living room, but it feels colder now. The lights flicker violently. He grabs his phone to call for help, but the screen only shows static. His reflection in the black screen grins back at him. This isn't real. I'm just tired. This is all in my head. A loud bang echoes through the house. The door to his bedroom creaks open slowly, revealing pitch-black darkness beyond. Ryan stares at it, frozen. Then the footsteps start again, but this time they're rapid, as if someone is running straight toward him. He turns to face the sound, but there's nothing there. Suddenly, the shadowy figure from earlier reappears, this time right in front of him. Its form is clearer now, with hollow eyes and an unnaturally wide grin. You invited me in, Ryan screams, stumbling back. The figure lunges at him, but just as it's about to grab him, everything stops. The room is eerily quiet. Ryan looks around, trembling, but everything seems normal again. The shadows are gone. The lights are steady. Even the coffee cup is back on the table, full and untouched. Ryan sits back at his desk, shaking. He checks the time. 3:33 a.m. He stares at the untouched coffee cup, debating whether to throw it out or drink it. Maybe I just need tea next time, or therapy. Definitely therapy. As he reaches for the coffee cup to dump it out, the camera pans to his laptop screen. A message appears in bold letters, typed out on its own. Message: you can't escape me. What would you do if your coffee turned against you? Let me know in the comments below, and maybe check your cup before your next sip.